lecture for today. Ready na po ba? Wala marinig. Bingi yata ako. Ano ba yan?
Ready.
Yes.
Oh, ready na. That's good.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you so much. So, hindi natin patagalin to. Let us all welcome our lecturer for today. Let's welcome Kuya Randy Ame.
Okay ako.
Hello everybody. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. And once again, welcome to our class. Mga classmate, kumusta kayo?
Brothers and sisters,
Kumusta
can
yun?
you please turn
Okay
on your
lang po.
cameras?
Okay naman po kami.
Still alive.
Still alive and kicking?
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
I'm planning na magtanong kung ano yung napag-usapan natin last time kasi parang nahirapan yata magsagot kanina sa tanong ni Celine.
Oh my God.
Anybody who can give a summary of what we have discussed kailan ba yun? Last Wednesday? Anybody who can give a summary or a brief brief recap?
May plus points daw ang makakasagot.
Any volunteer or we needed to do a ruleta?
Yan, parang medyo ako, nabuhayan ako dun sa ruleta. Favorite nila yan eh.
Volunteer daw po si Kuya Jay.
Uy, sandali lang, hindi pa ako prepare. Hindi prepare pa lang.
Grabe talaga spirit.
Brothers and sisters, nasan yung voluntary spirit natin?
Alright, go ahead for NOTP.
Ate Jushel?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
me.
let's welcome Ate Jushel!
Si Kong Josh na lang daw.
Yeah. So,
Everyone, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, good afternoon. So, by
By
the
the
way,
way, we learned last.
Hello?
Nag-echo yata, Shell.
Yeah. Magkatabi po kasi kami tatlo.
Mute niyo na lang po muna yung iba para hindi
Yes po.
Thank you!
Alright. So, actually, last week I had learned actually what is the principle of creation, how God happy to create all of us. And I remember what can take action with me, people in being with God. And at the same time, the purpose of creation, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Giving joy to God. As a human being, of course, that's the main purpose. As a children of God, I should give and take to our Father. And of course, I realized the principle of creation and the dual characteristic of God. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, kamsahamnida. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
May magdadagdag pa? May magpapahabol? Any additional or any... Meron pang gustong magdagdag? Wag lang magbawas
From our brothers! Kasi,
Brothers power.
kasi nag-open na nagsimula. Sino po ang matapang na mandirigma na magsasama?
Mag-raise lang ako ng hand, sandali. Ay, ba't clock?
Salita ka na siya.
Sige na.
Kaon na yun.
Ba't naka-ano pa to?
Kuya JC, ikaw Ikaw po ba?
So,
Let's welcome
yes.
Kuya JC!
Good morning, Evan parent and sure parents. Good afternoon na pala. Good afternoon, Tito Randy, Ate Celine.
Yes.
Uy, kasi lagi ko nababanggit with mommy. Business daw. I have learned last meeting about the characteristic of God. First is the creator, and second, absolute reality, eternal, transcendent, time and space. And third, self-existence, or he has absolute existence. So he has a universal prime energy. So many people in the outside, they are wondering if God is the creator of all things. Who created God? O saan nanggaling si God? But since by the guidance of principle, I can clearly discover or I am clearly aware na God is a self-existence and He's natural and absolute existence, and then He's a universal prime energy. It is a source of all energy. And then, of course, energy will generate by action. So we have learned from the principle that we must live for the sake of others continuously. And then while being single, we must live holistic deed, which is yung living for the sake of others. So, in not entering in private relationship, which is yung relationship, yung conjugal relationship. So, then third na there should be no abuse, but everyone. So, all the summarize about the characteristic of God and then the three style that we need to practice. So, Adjo.
Okay, thank you very much for those recap. Okay, so before we'll proceed, I would like to add some points. Kasi kung titignan natin dun sa presentation natin last meeting, we have understood that God and my characteristics are very much similar. God has two sets of dual characteristics. I have two sets of dual characteristics. Kaya kung titignan natin, we can always say that our origin is no other than si God. Tama ba? God is the origin of us and the whole universe because it shows us a picture of the similarities, katulad ng parent and child. Tama ba? And as a subject and object, we are destined to call God as our parent. Even Jesus Christ said, we should look at God as our Father. So yun yung makikita natin na whether we like it or not, we are said to be the children of God. Okay, inheriting the same characteristics, and the only thing that we needed to do in order for us to become like Him is to continuously follow the interaction or the harmonious reciprocal relationship between the between the subject and object within God, and that is also present in human being. And from there, we can fulfill our purpose. We can give joy to God as a whole, and then we can give joy to ourselves as individuals, centering on the holistic purpose and individual purpose. Aju? Kaya kung titignan natin, gaya nga ng sinabi ni JC kanina, our ultimate purpose is to practice a lifestyle of living for the sake of others. Because that is the only way in order for us to really sustain and maintain, okay, the energy that is present in us, and that's also the way in order for us to use the energy centering on the universal prime energy or coming from God. Aju? So if that will be the case, if we are created to be like God, okay, what would be our value? Okay? And sabi pa nga niya sa presentation natin last week, di ba? We are created to become the image of God. So pag sinabing image, ano 'yon? Ano yung position ng image? Ano yung position ng pag nakaharap ka sa mirror, okay? And then you are looking at your image. Anong masasabi mo? 'Di ba nasabi natin sometimes, this is me, right?
Yeah.
Tama ba? Na pag nakikita mo yung sarili mo, eto pala ako. Okay? So meaning,
Oh my God.
the image and the origin has no difference from each other. Aju? Kaya nga sabi ni Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, di ba? Hindi niya sinabi na pwede kayo maging perfect. Baka pwede kayo maging perfect, hindi ganun eh. Ang pagkasabi niya is, you must be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. It is a mandatory command that absolutely we have to do and we have to follow. By continuously perfecting the harmonious relationship between subject and object. And from there, we can understand what is our value that is given to us by the Creator Himself. So in this section, we'll be discussing about original value. What is the value of a person who have completely inherit or perfect the harmonious relationship between subject and object? So we all know that God is an absolute being. Okay? And when we talk about God as an absolute, He created us with absolute characteristics as well. Tama ba? Meron tayong characteristics na absolute, eternal, and eternal. Am I right? Hello? We are created to be this way, right? With absolute characteristics, eternal. Okay? Kaya nga lagi nating hino-hope is, sana I can live eternally. With whom? With God. Aju?
Aju.
So, ibig sabihin, if God is absolute, we as created being, we are also absolute. Kaya nga sabi niya dito, the original value of an entity is determined when it participates as an object partner in a God-centered four-position foundation by relating with a person as its subject partner. Okay? Ang kinakailangan lang is we needed to enter into a subjective and objective partnership with God and then inherit the same characteristics, the same relationship as His subject and object. Okay? And from there, we can also relate through developing a relationship with another person centering on practicing a what? Harmonious relationship. Kaya kung titignan natin, whether we like it or not, the only thing that we can do with others is what? We cannot hate other people. That is not the original characteristics that we have. The original characteristics that we have is to learn and receive and to learn and develop together with other people. There's no such thing as boundary or barrier. Aju? Because that is the direction of the relationship between the subject and object. Kaya sabi niya dito, since the center of this four-position foundation is God, it is God who sets the standard for its value. Since God is absolute, the original value of an object partner determined in relation to this standard must also be absolute. So, si God ang nag-set ng ang center ng four-position foundation, so ibig sabihin, siya yung nakakaalam. And siya yung gumawa sa atin, kaya siya mas nakakaalam kung anong value at saka ano tayo. Okay? It is not the created being, but it is the creator. The only thing that the created being can do is to follow or to absolutely connect and practice the characteristics of the creator. Nang sa ganon, we can also inherit the same absoluteness with the creator. Tama ba? Aju? And that's the time that we ourselves will be preserved and that's the time that we can be developed. So that is the original value. It is being set by the creator, not the created being. Kaya kung titignan natin, hindi tayo mag-set kung anong standard ng life natin. Tama ba? Hindi tayo magsiset ng standard ng life natin, but it is already being set by the Creator or by God. Aju?
True.
Kaya it is very important that we needed to be connected to God. Kaya nga even sabi ni God, di ba, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Okay? He is the beginning and He is the end. So in order for us to really understand or to really become one with Him, we have to absolutely connect to Him. Kaya nga even sinabi nga niya, sinasabi na sa atin, di ba, even in our Christian understanding, without God we are nothing. But with God we are everything. Aju? Yan. If I am with God, nobody will go against me. Bakit? Kasi we cannot deny or we cannot deviate from the relationship that is being set by God. Kaya tingnan mo, if you are conscientious individual, if you are one with God, pagka meron kang masaktan na tao, okay? 'Di ba? Nagmumukmok ka na lang bigla, nakukonsensya ka. Tama ba? And then bumababa yung spirituality mo. Bakit ganon? Kasi you have violated or you did not follow, okay, the absolute standard of our being. The original value that we should practice. Na yung tinatawag nating absolute goodness. Aju? Kaya paano natin masasabi na ganun yon? Okay? So we can deeply understand this once we will understand how we can develop our characteristics. And this is the section that we'll be discussing, section 5. Okay? It is the process of the creation of the universe and its growing period. Paano nga ba na-create ang buong universe? Para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ba nga ba tayo. Okay? According to the divine principle, sabi niya doon, the universe did not suddenly spring forth complete. In fact, its origin and development took an enormous length of time. Pero kung basahin natin the book of Genesis, ano yun? It is a 6 days, right?
16.
6 days. Na pag sinabi nating 6 days, it is sunrise and sunset. Tama ba? Pero kung titignan natin, within a day, okay, there is a 24-hour cycle. Tama ba? 24-hour cycle, it includes the whole night and the whole day. 12 hours yung the whole night, 12 hours yung the whole day. So it is not just the sunrise and sunset. Kasi yung sunrise and sunset, that is just 12 hours. Tama ba? Tama ba yung pagkaintindi ko ng clock system natin? Ha? Kasi when I studied Oriental Medicine, anong tinitingnan namin? Every hour, okay, within the period of day and night, okay, as a one day, the 24 hours, we have different activities. Okay? Kaya nga, bakit kinakailangan matulog ang bata? Kung titignan natin. Because that is the period wherein yung growth and development ng mga internal organs and even yung mga iba't ibang parts ng katawan ng bata, yun yung meron siyang active development. Kasi during nighttime, yun yung resting stage ng katawan natin, and it is the time for it to develop itself. And during the daytime, yun naman yung pagkipag-relate sa ibang tao para sa ganun, may strengthen yung mga na-develop during the nighttime. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, the process of creation of the universe is not a literal sunrise and sunset. Okay? But it is a 6-ordered period of creation. So the biblical period of 6 days for the completion of the universe is not to be reckoned by the number of literal sunrise and sunsets. It symbolizes 6-ordered period of time in the creation process. So ibig sabihin, pag sinabing 6-ordered period, it is a process of development from smallest to the complex creation. Aju? Meron bang mga biologists dito? Mga nag-aral. Meron kayong biology nung college, nung high school, right?
High school.
Kung babalikan natin yung high school life ninyo, biology class ninyo, meron tayong tinatawag na embryonic development. Am I right? Yung embryonic development ba yun is sunrise, sunset lang yun?
Hindi.
Hindi, di ba? It is a what? Ano yun? Ano yung embryonic development, if you can still remember? Huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi ko kayo susumbong sa teacher nyo nung high school. Huwag lang kayo nag-absent noon o huwag lang kayo nag-excuse noon nung dinidiscuss yun.
Tulog, sir.
Tulog ba? Tulog ba nung bio kasi sabi niya nakakaasar naman tong puro memorization, no? Pero kung titignan natin, 'di ba? It is a 45 weeks order of development. Okay? From the union of sperm and egg cell, that is the beginning of the first week of development hanggang sa magkaroon ng completion of the whole human being or yung tinatawag nating bata, right? And kailan nako-complete? Kailan na-complete yung kabuuan ng isang tao? Anybody?
9 months.
9 months? Within 9 months? Ganun ba yun? Yung 9 months period na yun, that is what we call the internal development of our internal organ. Okay? After 9 months, pag pinalo na yung bata, yun yung completion of the development of the lungs. Na that is the time that he is ready to adapt. Dati ang akala ko, pinapalo yung bata para sa ganun umiyak lang. Pero I understand nung nasa College of Medicine ako sa Fatima, kaya pala pinapalo yung bata para sa ganun mag-accumulate ng air yung lungs. Pag na-accumulate yung air yung lungs, ibig sabihin, kaya na nung bata mag-adapt sa new environment. And he can live with the new environment. Kumbaga, yung missing link between the womb and the outside environment is no other than yung lungs ng tao. Kaya yun yung pinaka-last na nade-develop. And ang final development of the lungs is pag umiyak yung bata. Okay? Kaya pinapalo dahil hindi pangit siya, pinapalo dahil hindi galit yung doktor dahil ang tagal-tagal mag-iri ng nanay, hindi gano'n, no? But that is a sign that the child is ready to adapt into a new environment. So kung titignan natin, it is a order. It is a process of development until nagkaroon ng substantial na buhay yung tao. So likewise, if that is the process of the development of human being from the womb or inside the womb until it goes out to the natural environment that we have, so likewise with God. Kasi kung titignan mo, 9 months yun, and it is also an orderly process. Okay? It is divided actually into 3 trimester or into trimester. Okay? Yan. First trimester, second trimester, and then third trimester, and then yun na yung final na paglabas niya. And then it is a new beginning of a new life here on earth. So this is the process of the creation of the universe. Hindi siya katulad ng napag-aralan natin na in just a click of a finger, let there be light, nagkaroon ng night and day. Hindi ganun. But it is a continuous process of interaction between subject and object in God's coming from God's interaction of subject and object within God's personality. And then it is being extended to the environment. Okay? Yan. And then, kaya kung titignan natin, kung babasahin natin yung Genesis account of creation, it is not just a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, okay, 4 day, up to 6 days process. Okay? But it is, sabi nga niya, a day in the Bible is reckoned to be 1,000 years. Okay? Kaya sinasabi natin, the earth is already more than 6,000, actually hindi nga 6,000 6 billion years. Okay? That's already the projection age of the earth. 6 billion years. Okay? And this is talking about the 6th ordered period of the development of the creation. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, still, We are still developing kasi wala pa yung final na nagkaroon ng fulfillment of the final stage of the completion level of the growing period of human being. Do you think so? Aju, no Aju?
Yun.
Kasi ano bang pinaka-final? Nung na-create na ba sina Adam and Eve, doon na ba yung final? Or not? No. It's not, di ba? Kasi may inantay pa si God. Ano yung pa inantay ni God? It is the substantialization of what? Hala, remember nyo? Substantialization of
The universe.
harmonious relationship of each personality being manifested through the relationship of the image and the symbol. But before the image and the symbol can completely unite together, dapat yung image muna magkaroon muna ng substantialization of harmonious and reciprocal relationship of God's personality. And that is the fulfillment of the three great blessings. Tama ba? Aju, no Aju? Yeah, we are still on the process of development. Although nakumpleto na yung create ni God, pero yung substantialization ng manifestation of God's characteristics to be substantially manifested here on earth, yun pa yung kulang. Kaya nga, yun pa rin yung inaantay niya hanggang ngayon. Naghahanap siya ng makakagawa nun after Adam and Eve fail in their portion of responsibility. Okay? Kasi ang goal ni God is what? Okay? For all the image to be in the perfection stage. Not only settling into the growing period. Okay? Kaya sabi niya dito, when the first day of creation is completed, the Bible states there was evening and there was morning. And that is one day. And pag sinabi nating morning and evening, that is just a what? One cycle, right? One cycle of what? Morning and evening. That is a one cycle of 12 hours. Tama ba? Hello?
A day.
Tama ba? Evening and morning. Sunset tapos sunrise. Diba? That is just a half of the 24 hours. Pero titignan natin, ang whole cycle is the whole 24 hours. Aju? And that is a one day of development. Kasi iba yung nangyayari sa gabi, iba rin yung nangyayari sa araw. Okay? Kaya nga naging common thinking sa natin is, sabi niya dito, one would think that the arrival of the morning after the passage of an evening and a night would be reckoned as the second day. Yet it is referred to as the first day. So the Bible states one day to show that a created being must pass through a growing period symbolized by the night before it reaches perfection in the morning. Then as it greets the new morning, it can step forward and realize its ideal of creation. Katulad ng example ko kanina. Okay? Nung umiyak na yung bata, tapos na ba yung development ng bata? Kumpleto na ba?
Not yet. Not yet.
Hindi pa. It is continuous, right? Lalong-lalo na paglabas niya, okay, hindi na lang yung physical development ang kinakailangan niyang tignan, ngunit yung internal development. I-apply yung characteristics na meron siya internally. Aju? Kaya tignan mo, pag sinabihan mo yung baby, ang pangit-pangit mo, nagagalit ba yung baby? Ha? Susuntukin ka ba niya? Sisipain ka ba niya? Hindi, di ba? Bakit? Kasi ang characteristics na meron sila is only the set of goodness. Wala silang nakikita na any negative or any negative things around them. Everything is in accordance towards the relationship of mind and body. Okay? Yung four-position foundation that leads us towards experience and practice goodness. Tama ba? Aju, no Aju? Kaya kahit sabihin mo na ang pangit-pangit ng bata, instead na magalit sa'yo, mag-smile lang sa'yo. Tapos hanggang sa makonsensya ka na, oh, gwapo ka na nga, maganda ka na nga. Tama ba? Okay? So this is not just a one-day development, but it is a process of development both internally and externally. Okay? And that is the growing period na sinasabi natin. And pag sinabi natin growing period, it is not just a one click of a finger, but it follows the pattern of formation, growth, and completion. Tama ba? Di ba? Dapat mag-form muna. After mag-form, mag-grow muna. After mag-grow, hanggang sa magkaroon ng completion. Okay? Sino sa inyo yung mahilig or magaling gumawa ng tula? Or gumagawa ng tula? Pag gusto mo magsulat ng tula ba, nagsusulat ka na kagad tapos final na yon after? It goes through 3 process of development, right? Tama ba? I-form mo muna yung thought mo. Pag ma-form mo yung thought mo, unti-unti mo siyang isulat, tapos i-share mo, tingnan mo kung maganda, hanggang sa pagka nagkaroon ka ng accumulation of a reaction na it's good, that's the time that you will complete it and you will set it into final stage. And that is what we call the process of growing period na formation, growth, and completion. Tama ba? And everything goes through this before the perfection stage will be going through. Kaya nga sabi, di ba? Ano yung sinasabi? Ano yung common na jargon natin? Practice. Ano yun? Ano yung sinasabi? Continuous practice makes
perfect.
Perfect, right?
Perfect. Yes.
Yan. Practice continuously will perfect it.
Hello.
That is what we needed to do. Kaya nga, even in our personality, in order for us to perfect God's personality that is present in us, what do we need to do? We needed to constantly practice. Kaya yung purpose natin, why we needed to relate with other people. Why we needed to see the value of, instead of looking at the differences, we should look at the opportunity of the learning process that we can learn from each other. Kaya sabi nga dito, all creation reach perfection by passing through the 3 ordered stages of growth, the formation stage, the growth stage, and the completion stage. Kaya yun din ang development ng tao. Okay? Yung childhood, okay? Yung childhood that is the formation stage. Formation of our value system within ourselves. And then pagdating ng teenage, ano yun? That is the growth stage. Okay? And then, pagdating ng a young adult and towards adulthood, ano yun? That is the completion stage. That is in the physical world. Aju? Tama ba?
Aju.
And that is the development of our love while we are here on earth. Okay? Kaya kung titingnan natin sa bata is yung wala tayong ibang magawa kundi mag-receive lang na mag-receive. Okay? Whether maganda o hindi maganda yung binibigay sa atin, ang ano lang natin is just to receive. Para sa ganun, ma-form natin yung value system natin, and pagka teenager, yun naman na yung ipapractice natin yung mga lahat ng natutunan natin. Kaya nga, napakahalaga kung paano na-raise yung bata sa loob ng bahay, dyan na-determine kung anong personality niya paglabas ng bahay. And ano ring klaseng parent siya pag naging parent na siya. And most especially, kasi meron tayong eternal characteristics, okay? Absolute characteristics, okay? Pag namatay tayo, doon din magde-determine kung saan tayo pupunta. Aju? Hello? Aju no Aju?
Yes. Aju.
Aju po.
Okay? So this is the development. We are following the 3 ordered stage of development before the level of perfection. Okay? Yan. So human being could not fulfill the purpose of creation because they fell without completing the 3 stages of the growing period. Hence, in their renewed effort to realize their purpose, human being passed through these 3 stages. We all know that at the top of the growth stage, okay, doon na impluwensyahan sina Adam and Eve to cut off their connection to God. So nawalan sila ng authority to completely inherit God's characteristics. Tama ba? Nawalan sila ng authority to perfect God's character. Bakit? Kasi nagkaroon ng reversal of priority. Ano naging priority nila? Is it the whole purpose or individual purpose?
Individual.
Okay? And it's very clear, right? Na yun yung nangyari. Nagkaroon ng focus more on individual. Kaya nga, nung pinalabas sila sa Garden of Eden, anong sinabi ni God? From now on, kung anong exert nyo na effort, yun yung magiging katumbas ng ikabubuhay ninyo. Tama ba? It's a Garden of Eden, they don't need to worry about their food. Food to eat. Pero because they violated the natural law, the law of God, okay, what had happened? Okay, they needed to exert effort kasi naging priority nila yung physical desire more than the whole desire, holistic desire. Aju? Okay, in order for us to go back to the original state, okay, we needed to go through the 3 stages as well. So the first human ancestor fell at the top of the growth stage, and this is the process that we needed to go through again as a fallen individual so that we can fulfill the purpose of creation and continue our growth to become the perfect image of God. Okay? So pag mag-undergo tayo ng growing period, hindi pa ito yung perfection natin as a fallen person. Ito pa lang yung stage wherein we can go back kung saan nagkasala si Adam and Eve, and from there we can continue our growth until we are completely become one with God. Aju?
Yes,
Yeah.
Aju.
So that is the process of development. First, in our first human ancestor, but because they were not able to accomplish, we needed to pay indemnity for the failure that they have in the past. Okay? Yan. Kaya kung titignan natin, kung nagawa na sana nila Adam and Eve lahat noon, sana wala tayong problema ngayon. Aju? Kasi kung titignan natin ang development and perfection of the image and the symbol, ito yung makikita natin. When created beings are in the growing period, God has regard only for the fruit of their growth, which based on the principle. In this way, He governs all things indirectly. We call this growing period the realm of God's indirect dominion or the realm of dominion based on the accomplishment through the principle. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Kung i-observe natin yung mga plants, okay, yung growth and development nila, it always follow what is being set in the natural world or what we call the principle of the natural world. Tama ba? Meron kayong experiment nung siguro elementary kayo. Ma-remember nyo kaya yon? Yung nagpatubo kayo ng munggo.
Okay, opo.
Ha? Nung nagpatubo kayo ng munggo, di ba, tinakpan ninyo yung munggo, binalot ninyo sa basang papel o basang cotton, tela. Nung nag-sprout yung munggo, okay, anong ginawa niya? Ano yung growth and ano yung direction ng growth niya?
Tubo.
Ano, pailalim o pataas?
Upward. Pataas po.
Taas po.
Actually, both yun. Meron yung pailalim, meron yung paitaas.
Paitaas.
Right? Tama ba?
Opo.
Yung pailalim, yun yung roots. Yung pataas, yun yung leaves.
Stem.
Okay? So, ganun din. Okay? Because that is the principle of the universe. In the natural world, they cannot deviate from that. Kaya kung titigan mo, yung mga hayop, kahit kainin sila ng ibang hayop, okay? Nagagalit man sila in the very beginning, pero at the end, they enjoy. Okay? Kasi, kung titignan natin, that will maintain their population. Aju? Para hindi magkaroon ng overpopulation. Okay? So that is in the natural world. But in human world, we have a very different development. Why? Okay? In human being, while we are in the indirect dominion or dominion based on the principle, aside from following the principle, what we needed to do is we have to fulfill our portion of responsibility. Ano ba yung responsibility natin? Ano yung POR natin na sinasabi natin? Portion of responsibility. Who can give me the POR?
Give joy to God.
How can we give joy to God? What is the process, or how can we give joy to God?
By learning, believe, and practice God's words.
By learning,
Fulfilling the
believing,
great
practice.
blessings.
By fulfilling the 3 great blessings.
And how
By
can we fulfill the 3 great blessings?
First one, perfection of individuality, unity between mind and body. After we perfect ourselves, we go to the second level, which is the perfection of family. A family that's supposed to be a man and a woman are united to each other. They can create an ideal family. If an ideal family are educated, then they will dominate the universe. They will dominate the creation.
Okay, so that is how you do it, right? Tama ba?
Yes po.
Ang tanong, are we doing it?
Supposed to be processing process po.
Diba?
Ah,
Sabi nga natin kanina, di ba? Practice
Yes
makes
po.
perfect. Yung first blessing na sinasabi, pag sinabi nating first blessing, that is constant practice of unity of mind and body. Nang direction is living for
Body.
others. Am I right? Hello? Are you still with me?
Opo.
Yes
And that
po.
is our human portion of responsibility. Constant practice of the unity of mind and body. Nang
Body.
pinapractice is not living for individual alone, individual purpose, but it is living for higher
The
purpose.
sacrifice.
Aju?
Joe.
Kaya nga ang second blessing, pagdating ng second blessing, pag mag-asawa ka na, pag pupunta ka na into a relationship, there's no concept of I. But the concept is we.
We.
Me and my partner. Me and my children. We as a family. Aju?
Yes.
And then during that time, it is also an expansion of what we have learned within ourselves. So that is the development or the process of perfection of human being. Following the principle plus fulfilling my responsibility. Ano ba yung responsibility na yon? Yung 3 great blessing na yon. It is the perfection of love. Loving unconditionally. Aju?
Aju.
Yan. Kaya nga kung titignan natin, outside the principle, it is not love. Anong tawag natin doon? It is false love. So yan yung development of creation. That is the development of human being. All things and human being. Kaya nga, we are created to be the highest form of creation. And even sinasabi sa atin ng biology na we are the highest form of animal. Tama ba? Thinking animal. Okay? We are the highest form of animal kasi meron tayong capacity to feel God's heart and practice God's heart and experience God's heart, centering on loving unconditionally. Aju? And so once we can fulfill this, once we can fulfill and we can reach the level of perfection, sabi nga nito, God endowed human being with a portion of responsibility for the following reason. By fulfilling their given portion of responsibility with which even God does not interfere, human beings are meant to inherit the creative nature of God and participate in God's great work of creation. Okay? Kaya tayo na tao, we have the capacity to recreate God's children. Okay? And also, God intended human being to earn ownership and become worthy to rule over the creation as creators in their own right, just as God governed them as their creator. Aju? Napanood niyo yung movie na Narnia? Wala, hindi niyo napanood yung Narnia. Ang ganda kaya nun. It talks about the creation kaya yon. Yung first one, second episode, and then meron pa ba yung pangatlo? Yan. 'Di ba yung Narnia? Nung pumasok yung magkakapatid, anong sabi nung Ice Queen ba yon? Yung Snow Queen? Anong sabi niya? Are these the children of Adam who will come to liberate Narnia? Okay? And in our family, what is our position as a children? Di ba we are the co-owner of everything that is provided by our parents. Tama ba?
Yes.
So that is inheriting creative nature of our parents. Inheriting the creative nature of God. And we are destined to participate in God's creation. Kaya nga, kung titignan natin, we are creating our own environment. We are creating our own world. We have the capacity to create our own world. But it should always be in accordance towards others. Okay? Kaya kung titignan natin, we have ownership and rule over the creation. Aju?
Aju.
Kaya nga, whether we like it or not, pag gumising ka sa gabi, dapat hindi ka matatakot. Tama? Alas 12 ng gabi, pag gising mo, kahit pupunta ka pa sa malayo, dapat hindi ka matatakot eh. Kasi that is our position. We are ruling over the whole creation, both the physical world and the spiritual world. And we are created to become the co-creator of God. Aju?
Aju.
Kaya napakahalaga that we should fulfill our portion of responsibility so that we can prove to God that we are His rightful children and we are His rightful co-creator. Yun naman ang pinaka-purpose ni God, bakit binigay niya yung 3 great blessing eh. So that we can be responsible and alam niya na maalagaan natin ang lahat ng mga bagay na create niya sa atin. Katulad yan ng isang magulang. Okay? Yung magulang, halimbawa, nag-create siya ng garden. Pag aalis siya, sino mag-take care sa garden ng mga magulang?
Ano?
Tawagin ba niyo yung kapitbahay? Kapitbahay, kayo muna mag-alaga nito. Ganun ba? Or naturally, yung mga anak. Right? Eh kung umalis yung magulang, pagbalik, nasira lahat yung halaman. Will the parents be happy?
Palo.
Okay? So likewise with God. Okay? Kaya nga ang hope ni God is we should fulfill our portion of responsibility to take ownership. Feel ownership na mapangalagaan natin ang lahat ng bagay na create niya katulad ng pagmamahal niya sa kanyang mga ginawa. Okay? And that is God's plan towards human being. Towards the perfection of human being. And once we can perfect that love unconditionally, hindi na mag-wave yung love natin o yung lifestyle natin of living for the sake of others, yung sinasabi nating true love, what will happen? We will be elevated to the level of direct dominion. And that's the time that the purpose of goodness is being realized, or what we call the realm of perfection. Okay? So, kailan mangyari yon? Okay? Meron tayong level of perfection while we are living on earth, and then that is also the level of perfection na magiging foundation pagpunta natin sa spiritual world when we shed our physical body. Kaya nga sabi niya dito, human being abides in the realm of direct dominion when as subject partner and object partner, they unite in the love of God to form a four-position foundation and become one in heart with God. In this realm, they freely and fully share love and beauty according to the will of the subject partner, thus realizing the purpose of creation, purpose of goodness. Okay? Yan. Our subject position, our mind receive love coming from God, and our mind will also give love to our physical body. And once our mind and body will unite, centering on that love, that's the time that we are showing beauty to God. Kaya nga kung titignan natin, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin sa ating kapwa na pangit ka. Tama ba? Kasi wala pong pangit na create si God. Meron bang pangit na create si God? Ha? Have you tried to observe a person, sabihin natin na tabingi yung bibig, maliit saka malaki yung mata. Have you observed that person? And then, kung habang tumatagal na tinitignan mo, ganun pa rin ba yung pagtingin mo sa kanya? Or sometimes nagbabago?
Bago.
One time nung nasa Cebu ako, yung tatlong malalaking university sa Cebu, nandoon ako sa gate. Nagbibigay ako ng question sa mga, nakikita ko na pair. Okay? Yung mga pair na babae at saka lalaki. Tapos meron akong tanong sa kanila, bakit mo siya nagustuhan? Ang pangit-pangit niya. Ang pinipili ko, minsan maganda yung lalaki, hindi naman ganoon kagwapo hindi naman ganoon kaganda yung babae. Minsan, ang ganda-ganda ng babae, pero ganoon din yung lalaki. Diba? Napapansin niyo yun? Yan. Pero bakit in their eyes, why is it they are the most beautiful, they are the most handsome? Na in the eyes of other is not like that.
Because
Kaya nga, I
They
truly
have common base.
Ha? May common
Because
base?
they have common base.
Ano yung common base na yon? Okay? Ano yung sense of common base na yon? That unites them. What kind of love?
unconditional love.
Okay? It is unconditional love. Ano yung klaseng love na yon? It is not basing on the differences but looking at the opportunity of learning from each other. Aju? Yan.
Aju.
Kaya nga, yun yung gusto mangyari ni God eh. We are into that position of experiencing God's love. Okay? Na ang makikita natin is, lahat is maganda. Kahit na sinasabi natin na hindi maganda, but still, we can see goodness, we can see beauty. Tama ba? Aju, kaya nga sabi ni God, di ba, every time na matapos siya mag-create, anong sabi niya? It is good. So dapat yun din yung maramdaman natin. We can see the goodness in everything. Kaya hindi rin natin pwedeng sabihin na yung isang tao is bobo. That's no. Okay? Kasi meron pa rin siyang capacity to do something good for others.
Yeah.
Aju?
Yes, correct.
And yun yung gusto mangyari ni God. Yun yung gusto ni God na i-perfect natin so that we can reach the level of perfection before we go to the spirit world. Okay? And once we can constantly practice and perfect that here on earth, that's the time that we can go to the realm of perfection in the spiritual world. Aju?
Unit.
Kaya kung titignan natin, ang buhay natin dito sa mundong ibabaw, it is a constant practice of living for the sake of others. Or yung tinatawag natin na main characteristics of true love. Yun yung pinapractice natin. Okay? Pag sinabi natin true love, it is looking at the opportunity and looking at the possibility or looking at the learning process that we can see more than just judging anything that we can hear and we can see from each other. Kasi yun yung magbibigay sa atin ng basis for us to unite together. Okay? So yun yung pine-perfect natin dito sa mundo in preparation for us to live eternally in the spiritual world. Adyo po ba? Because our destination after we perfect God's love here on earth is we will be destined to be with God eternally. And that is the section 6 of the principle of creation. Okay? Anong title ng section 6?
The incorporeal world and the corporeal world, the center is human.
Incorporeal world and corporeal world, those centers is human being.
Anong ibig sabihin nun? What does that mean?
Human beings.
Physical world.
In short, ang sentro ng buong universe is no other than human being. Right? Bakit kaya hindi si God ang sentro? Bakit human being? Okay? Bakit hindi human being? So tingnan natin, God, the universe was created after the pattern of human being who is in the image
We
of
are
God's
God's
dual
substantial body.
characteristics. Okay. Ayun, we are created to become the substantial image of God. We embody the
Substantial body.
dual characteristics of God. God is invisible. We are the visible manifestation of God's personality. So therefore, corresponding to human mind and body, the universe consists of the incorporeal world and the corporeal world, both of which are real and substantial. The two worlds together form the whole cosmos. And when we shed our physical bodies, we enter the incorporeal world as spirit and live there for eternity. So ito yung makikita natin. Okay? We are created to become the image of God as human being. And the universe, okay, it is also created with the image of human beings centering on the invisible world and the corporeal or incorporeal world and the corporeal world. And that is the whole cosmos, both the physical world and the spirit world na sinasabi natin. Aju? Kaya nga sinasabi sa atin, when we die, we shed our physical body and our spirit will go back to God who gave it. So yan yung ultimate destiny natin, to live eternally together with God in the spiritual realm. So our body, the presence of our body, this is only the time that we can practice and experience. Okay? Yung perfection of our love or perfection of our character of living for the sake of others. Aju? Yan. So yun yung pinaka main position natin, to become the center of the whole cosmos. Okay? So ano bang role ng tao? Okay? So human being is created to become, God created human being to be the ruler of the universe. We are to rule both the physical world and the spiritual world. Okay? Ibig sabihin, we are destined to dominate even the angels. We are destined to dominate even the spiritual realm. Kaya napapansin nyo, pagka kinakabahan kayo, and then pagka dinodominate nyo yung fear ninyo physically, okay? Ano mangyari after that? Di ba nawawala yung takot nyo, nawawala yung kaba nyo? And that's the time that nagkakaroon ka ng firm and strong perception na walang mga ganon. Okay? We can eliminate yung mga things that bothers us. Why? Because we are the ruler. We can rule both the physical world and the spiritual world. Ibig sabihin, we can control. We have the capacity to control. Kaya even our emotion, we can control our emotion. Tama ba? In psychology, meron sinasabi nila na uncontrolled emotion. That is not true. Because we can control our emotion. Right? You have the capacity to choose whether you will do it or not. Sabi ng mga lasenggo, sorry sabi ng mga lasenggo, hindi raw nila alam ang kanilang ginagawa pag lasing. Sino mga umiinom dito? Meron bang umiinom dito? May mga nakaranas bang uminom? Ha?
Inom po ng tubig.
Uminom ng tubig? Pero meron bang nalalasing sa tubig? Di ba? Sa mga nakaranas uminom ng alak. Kung naranasan niyo yung 48 hours na continuous na pag-inom.
48 hours.
Sabi nila hindi daw alam ang ginagawa pag lasing. Kasi palusot lang po 'yun. Tingnan niyo yung mga manginginom. Alam nila kung anong ginawa nila. They can even tell the story kung anong sinira nila pagkatapos nilang pag nahimasmasan sila. Okay? Pero nangyari lang, tinatago lang nila para sa ganun maka-escape sila. Okay? Actually, yun na akala ko before Pero nung na-experience ko, 48 hours ba naman? Ang iniinom mo is gin, tapos chaser mo is beer.
Pineapple.
Tapos meron pa kasamang yung sabaw ng nyog. Eh, di ba yung sabaw ng nyog, ano din yun?
Lambanog?
May alcohol
Ay.
din yun. May alcohol din yung sabaw ng nyog.
Oh.
Yan, 48 hours.
Lambanog ba yun?
Lambanog.
Lambanog.
Yan, lambanog. Hindi naman yung lambanog, yung talagang literal na sabaw ng nyog.
About,
Yan.
talaga?
Oo.
Ang ano ko nun is, nakikita ko yung dagat is parang nanakonda eh. Pero after na
Gasolination.
nawala yung tama ko sa pagkalasing, alam ko naman kung ano nangyari. Kasi, umihi ako dun sa poste dun sa iniinuman namin. Alam ko pa nga na hindi ko mahawakan yung poste kasi parang ang lapit pero ang layo. Okay? Kaya yung mga sinasabi na we cannot control, actually we can control it. The only thing is we are not aware of ourselves. What should be the thing that we have to practice? Kaya kinakailangan nating ibalik yung original na connection natin sa original perspective of our life. Okay? So we are destined to rule both the spirit world or the physical world and the spiritual world through our physical body and our spiritual self. And also mediator and center of harmony of the whole cosmos. Okay? We can mediate and we can harmonize the whole cosmos. Kaya nga kung titignan natin, okay, bakit nagpapakita yung mga relatives natin sa atin? Okay? Bakit sila nagpapakita? Dahil gusto lang nila magpakita? Ganun ba yon? No, they wanted to unite with us. Either they conveyed a message, they are conveying a message that will be given to another person or sharing us something that we needed to do in order for us to become a better person. Aju? Napanood niyo yung movie na Ghost? Parang puro old movies yata ang inaano ko. Napaghalata tuloy na... Ha? Pero 26 pa lang naman ako eh. Teenager pa rin ako, di ba? 26 years old.
Life after life.
Opo.
Aju?
Aju po.
Ano bang pinaka-latest ngayon? Ngayon, puro zombie kasi yung mga palabas eh.
Live.
Diba? Pati
Yes.
mga games, puro mga zombie.
Alam mo yung what next?
Right?
Peninsula.
Pero kung titignan natin, kung napanood yung mga iba't ibang mga movies before, lalo-lalo mga Tagalog movies na mga may ghost, may mga spirit, saka ano, kanino ba sila nakipag-relate, nakipag-unite? It's no other than people on earth.
Human being.
Because we are the mediator and the center of the harmony of the whole universe. Okay? And also, we are the encapsulation in a substantial form, the essence of everything in the whole cosmos. Kaya tinatawag tayong microcosm. We are the small cosmos.
Yeah.
We manifest everything that we can
Cosmos.
see in the whole cosmos. Okay? Yan. Kaya kahit anong kainin mo, it will become part of your system. It will become part of your body. Kasi yung body mo merong element na minimal amount na it can relate with the different element that is present in our environment, both physically and spiritually. Tama po ba? Aju? So this is us human being. We are created to become the ruler, the mediator and center of harmony, the encapsulation of the whole universe. We are the small cosmos. Kaya nga, we are created to become the image of God because we compose the whole universe itself. We are the small representation of God here on earth or physically. Okay? Kaya anong purpose ng physical body natin at saka spiritual body? Okay? So the physical self consists of the dual characteristics of physical mind and the physical body. Our spirit self consists of dual characteristics of spirit and spirit mind and spirit body. So meron silang parehong characteristics. Okay? So the spirit can grow and reach perfection only while it abides in the body. So ibig sabihin, growth and development ng spirit natin nakadepende sa activity ng body natin. The spirit become good only through the redemption of sin granted during earthly life. So it's not God who decides whether spirit self enters heaven or hell upon his death. it is decided by the Spirit Himself. Okay? Aju? Kaya nga kung titignan natin, within ourselves, okay, pag gumagawa tayo ng mabuti, ano nangyari sa spirit natin? Diba gumaganda ang spirit natin? Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Tapos pagka gumagawa tayo ng hindi mabuti, ano nangyari? Dumidilim ang personality natin. Ibig sabihin, dumidilim din ang spirit natin. Tama ba? Kaya tingnan nyo yung itsura nung masaya na tao, walang kaaway na tao, at saka yung tao na ang daming problema, ang daming kaaway, ang daming pinagtataguan. Ano ma-observe nyo sa kanya?
Okay.
Merong difference in terms of aura, di ba? Yun yung sinasabi natin in our term sa Christian world, yung aura na sinasabi natin. Okay? Madilim ang aura nung tao na may kaaway, maraming problema. Pero yung walang kaaway, masaya, ano yun? Anong aura niya? It is maliwanag yung kanyang aura. Kaya nakadepende sa physical activity natin whether our spirit will be good or not. Whether our destiny is to hell or to heaven. Hindi si God ang mag-decide, but it is our spirit. Depende kung anong level ng love ang na-practice niya while we are living on earth. Aju?
Aju.
Kaya nga kung titignan natin, okay, throughout our life here on earth, the only thing that we do is to practice and experience and perfectly embody goodness. Kaya yung pinapractice natin habang buhay tayo sa mundo is kung paano magpakabuti. Diba? Sabi nga natin sa introduction, everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. And that is yung lagi natin ginagawa every day into our life. To always experience goodness and then avoid anything that is misfortune. And how can we do that? It is constantly looking at the possibility and looking at an opportunity more than looking at differences with each other or judging other. Pag sinabi kong opportunity, hindi yung opportunista for physical self, ha? Yung opportunity na sinasabi ko is opportunity to learn and experience goodness. Kaya nga sinasabi, once is enough, two is too much. Thrice will become your life, and then hanggang hindi mo na matanggal yung habit na yun. Aju?
Aju.
So with that, I hope na we can start to do our our journey. Okay? Practice our journey of lifestyle centering on the principle of living for the sake of others. And practicing God's core principle of harmonious relationship of subject and object. So do you have any question? Clarification? Reaction? Okay. So what we have learned from these 3 chapters is God is the one who knows our value. And once we will be inheriting God's nature, that's the time that we can be into that value that God wanted. Okay. And then the next one is our development is not, it cannot be done in a click of a finger. It always go through a process. Kaya nga even transformation or changing, hindi mo pwedeng masabi na magbago ka kagad. Yung nakasanayan mo before, yung mga practice mo na lifestyle before, if it's not in accordance to the principle, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na mababago ko kaagad to. It always needs time. Okay? And constant removal of, ano yun? Constant deviation from misfortune, nang sa ganun we can constantly practice goodness. And ultimately, okay, anong sinasabi dito? Our life on earth will be the preparation for us to live eternally with God in the spirit world, because God created us with eternal and absolute characteristics centering on our spirit. Kaya ang buhay natin is coming from God and it should be ending with God. Aju? And we are said to be the image and likeness of God. We are the children of God. That's why Jesus Christ said, this is how you should pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as well as in heaven. So magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.